Hi guys, I'm back for part 2 of this first name roulette that's being sponsored as a challenge by the Facebook group, the Paper Outpost Facebook group. I talked more about it in part 1 of this. I decided to do it in different parts because I don't know how long this video is going to be. Basically, you take a first name and you come up with either a craft item, a tool, or technique starting with that letter, and that's what you do. You do 3 of these to make some sort of item for your junk journal. Her examples were the name Sam. She was going to use sticklets, acetate, and metal, or she could also use string, atlas, and Mod Podge to make something, okay? In my last one, of course, I picked the name Amy, A-M-Y, because it's my daughter's name. It was easy. And I went to this website here, createandcraft.com, and they had an alphabetical list of craft items starting with A, B, C, D, that way. So I just went through and pulled ones that would work for me for junk journals. So last time I made tags with an acetate from a business envelope, some money for my M, and it was just paper money that I put in here, sandwiched it in there. I stitched around it. You guys didn't see the stitching last time. And Y was the yarn for the tassels. So I just made 2 because I had 2 different size envelopes, openings. So there's my 2 tags. And then I did another one. I made a pocket, and I had to use an acrylic block. I didn't have to. That's just what I chose. Acrylic block, and I put a stamp on it and stamped this bird. And then the M was mulberry paper, which is this paper behind the bird. And then Y, I used the yarn, and I did hand crochet to make like a little piece of trim to put on there. So that was my objects yesterday. We don't have to make more than one. I just wanted to show, hey, you can do more than one. So I am planning on doing 4, but this one video, part 2, will probably just be 1. Okay, so now today's items are going to be A, acrylic paint, M, a mask or masking tape, so kind of the same thing, and Y, yo-yo. So that's where we're going to get into some time. So anyway, I've got this tag I cut out of a real thick book page, and I think time I do some paint on the front, it's pretty thick as it is, so I'm just going to leave it. I'm not backing it on something else because I love the coloring of it. The back's perfect for writing, so we're going to work on this front. And I thought I would take some masking tape. I just went and got some actual masking tape. It may tear up my paper. I don't know. This is all experiment. And I'm just going to mask off some spots. And I'm just going to tear it as best I can. And just put it down. And just kind of mask off some spots. And then I'm just going to sponge some paint on here. So I'm not trying to cover the whole thing with paint or with the masking tape. And I'm not making a design. I basically don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing this. And I'm filming it at the same time, which is kind of crazy. So just see what we get. And if it's ugly, you know where it goes. So I think I kind of got this pretty much randomly covered all over here. Okay, now get ready to work on Hardy Boys books, and the kind of blue is kind of my theme. So I've got blue paints, and oops, I was going to open that before I started this video because it's never going to be easy when you're doing it on tape. Not tape. Like videotape, digitizing, filming myself. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to put like a little blob in this little cup. That's plenty. I got another shade. I didn't open it either. Good grief. Thought it was open. Sorry about the waste of time. You know what? We used to have quite a bit of paints years ago. And they all just kind of dried up. So, they're only like 50 cents a bottle when you go to Walmart. So sometimes I'll just go through, if I'm back in that area, just go grab a couple of bottles of just different colors, just to kind of build our stash up. So that's why I had these blue. And then I have the cream, and guess what? The lid's already off of it. The acetate. Okay, way too much. Okay, now over here somewhere I used to have a sponge, and now I can't find it, of course, now that I want it. It's green and it was sticking to me a while ago. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera off and go find it. I'll be right back. Sorry, I found it. It's a piece that I cut from something a long time ago, and it is very stiff and dry, and that's the way I want it, because I just want you know, like that. I don't necessarily want solid paint. So I'm just gonna kind of dab on there, dab off the bulk of it. Come over here. And I'm also hopefully going to do the challenge that's put on by the Scrap All About It with Dear Julie Facebook site. It's called, I don't know, February Just Finish It Scrapbook Challenge, something like that. And it got all these different things you have to do, and one of them was do something different you had never done before. So this would definitely qualify. Actually, this should probably dry before I try to take that tape off, or maybe I don't want to wait till it's dry. Let's just go ahead and do it. Okay. I'm sure I'll have glue, paint all over me by the time this is done. You know, if you were doing a design, it would probably be better. Like if I thought about trying to do a flower, but you know, or just getting a flower punch out and putting it on here, because it could have worked as a mask. Do I have any more? Yep, I do have one more. But I didn't. So just however, oh, there's two more. Whatever kind of design you might want is what you use. Okay, I think that's all of it. And now I've got my pretty Amy paper all painted up. So this becomes a painty paper. All right, let's get rid of this. And I'm going to, I would wash my hands, but why does everything disappear, you know, when you start filming? Okay, I think it's dry enough. Okay, A was for acrylic paint, M was for masking, and Y is going to be for yo-yo. So while I'm gonna let this dry while we work on the second part, and this is gonna be a little tricky. You know, now that I see this, I'm glad I have this. I'm going to attempt to make, on film, my own yo-yo. I've made them before. I just don't know how much time it's going to take. I actually made a whole curtain of these once. So, what you need, fabric and something to do a circle with. The circle determines how big your yo-yo is. So I'm not sure exactly what this is going to be. So the size, so whatever it is the one is what we're going to use. And now that I see this tape, this is perfect because I can do an inside circle and outside circle. You don't have to have that. Oh, fabric scissors probably would have been a smart thing to have on hand. Maybe these are them. I've got my needle here. I had it already threaded. Looks like I unthreaded it. Put it over there. Okay. I don't know that I'll use that inner circle. I'm not sure this blue is going to match my blue over here, but this other color I think would be better. I got two pieces of fabric over here. I'm just mumbling. Okay. So, and it doesn't have to be cut out perfect because it's not going to show. Okay, the reason I was thinking that inner circle, because I know where to fold it in. See, I follow that circle and it gives me a fold in thing, but that's going to really be too big. So, okay, what I'm talking about is if you don't want the raw edge showing, you can fold the fabric in and stitch around it. And that way you've got a raw edge. The raw edge is not showing. So I'm going to show you both ways. So this one, I'll do it without the raw edge showing. If I get my needle threaded. See, I was going to save time and have this threaded. I just didn't intend on pulling it out. Okay. So basically, you're just going to go in and out. Oops, I'm doing the raw edge. So if you're don't want the raw edge showing, you have to fold it down a little bit. And I was thinking that inner circle line would give me a line to follow, but it's too wide. So I'm just going to eyeball it. And some of them might be wider than others. It doesn't really matter in the long run. So you just kind of work it up on your needle and eventually pull it through. And I forgot to do a knot. Okay, I'll just try not to pull that out, and I'll take care of it when I get back around. Folding it under. this is going to be a fairly large yo-yo. So if you guys want to fast forward through this part, I completely understand. I won't say anything important because I never have anything important to say. You won't miss a thing. Yeah, I made a whole curtain once. So you make all the yo-yos and then you lay them out in a row. You stitch them together and then you stitch all the rows together, just like you would make a quilt basically. And I think Diane H. had a quilt made out of them. She took apart and sold it, and you can imagine all the work that goes into it. But you know, I'm sure the ladies that did this in the olden time, they were kind of like us. We have projects we do at TV time at night, and they would have little projects they would do at night, sitting around. And also one thing about the yo-yos was you can use little bits of scraps of paper, not paper, fabric, and you can use up your scrap fabric that way, because I know quilters and people that sew deal with scraps of fabric just like we deal with scraps of paper. You always get a stash of it. Okay, we're coming back around, and I like to go a little past or right to it. Let's see. I'll go ahead and grab that loop that I forgot to tie off a while ago, and I've unthreaded my needle again. Let's hope we don't need it, and we will need it. So anyway, you just push it up as tight as you can, and see, this is really thick fabric, and that makes the yo-yo. And I just broke it. Great, wonderful. Yep, that's what happens. My fabric is really too thick. Excuse me. I'm gonna make one out of this fabric. So I think it's gonna match better anyway. So you definitely can fast forward through this. Now we're starting over. I could salvage that by rethreading it, but it's not gonna work for me. And this, I'm afraid, is gonna be too thick as well. So, did I have a needle already threaded for this one? Yes, and it stayed threaded. I'll try not to, oh, I gotta cut it out. I'll try not to be so destructive this time. All right, this one should be smaller, but it's gonna be pretty thick, so maybe yo-yo wasn't such a great idea. Could have stuck with that yarn again. Okay, here we go. Zip through this. This one's gonna go faster because I'm not folding over the fabric. So if you don't mind, and I forgot to do the knot again, if you don't mind that raw edge showing, and I don't know why you would, because we are junk journals after all, it goes much faster. And what would be nice about these, you know, you could do the fabric that matches the spine of your book. Unless it's too thick, like this one. I won't pull it as hard, I promise. So, let me know if you guys are doing this challenge or if you've seen her Facebook page. It'd be fun to see what other people are doing. I think the challenge is over this Friday. Okay, we're getting back around. I'm going to come up through that loop just because I promise not to bust it this time. Okay, and then you just kind of flatten it out and make sure all your roll edges are in the center. Okay, that looks pretty good. Don't do anything more. And if I've got this still attached, I can't pick it up. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of go back through and reinforce it. Well, I would if I went through the fabric. There we go. Ouch, stuck myself. Just kind of knot it off. It's not gonna show. There's too many roll edges there. One more is not gonna matter. Okay, yay, I finished one. Okay, there we go. You can see it up close. And here's my tag. So I was just thinking either down here or up here is the topper, maybe at the top so it can go in a pocket. And this is pretty dry, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it on. I'm going to be brave. And I actually have at hand 2 bottles of glue. Can you believe I found them both at the same time? Yeah, that's cute. So it's a little flimsy because I didn't back it on thicker paper, but that's not, you know, that's just whatever you guys decide to do if you want to try this. So anyway, there's my tag. It's kind of crazy, but I used, what I use? Acrylic paint for A. M is the masking tape I used to mask off parts of it. And Y is the yo-yo. I made it. It took me 2 attempts, but I made it. So I thank you guys for watching, and I'll do part 3. Oh, yes, I will. Goodbye. Thanks. Okay, we're at the 4th item I'm going to make for this challenge, and I'm going to piece this video onto the other one, so I'm not going to go back and explain everything, so even though I have stopped the video. This time for A, I'm using Atlas. M is Mod Podge, which is right here, and Y is yo-yo. Now, I've rescued that other yo-yo that I oopsed on while ago, so it's ready to go. So I'm going to use it for this. So Atlas. Okay, I have a really nice, beautiful, pretty Atlas somewhere. I love this Atlas. It has the most wonderful paper. It's thick and it's smooth, but you know what? I don't know where it's at. So I decided I'll just use this Atlas paper. This will represent my Atlas. That'd be good enough. So it's something I got at Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. Paper Studio. And it's called Uncharted right there. I don't know if they still have it or not. I bought it because, you know, in my foolishness, I thought it was sticky. But it's not. But that's okay because we have Mod Podge. So anyway, I'm just going to put some of this. I'm making a journaling card. I've already got the lined paper on the back. So I needed something on here. So let's just tear some of this and just put it on there with Mod Podge. And we'll be done. So I'm just going to do some like over the corner there. And I'm just going to stick it on there and I'll trim it all off later. So this is pretty thick paper and it curls, so it's going to take, and I'm even going to go over it a little. It's going to take quite a bit of Mod Podge to get to stick down. And then maybe some along the side here. This is just a book page that I made a bunch of what I call blanks or bases, just out of a couple of layers of book page, and then I put some sort of paper on the back that you can write on. In this case, it was just that white lined paper. So, and then maybe something coming through here. I don't know, maybe down a little bit. Tear that off. Okay. So it really needs a focal point, doesn't it? I wonder what I could use. Hadn't thought of that. So let that dry a little bit. I was thinking, and you know this yo-yo really goes pretty good with the colors. The other one, I don't know if I showed you. Yeah, I did, because I finished it. That one goes good with those colors of the paint. This one goes good with these colors. So that really kind of worked out. So probably need to put it at the top since it's kind of bulky. And, okay. I'm not sure. I'm looking to see what kind of things I have over here in my little drawer I can use for a little focal point real quick. Some birds. He's not too bad. There's a parrot. That one's too big. Yep, I should have thought of that. And I should have also got my heat gun in here. Because it may take a while to dry this. That's kind of neat. It's kind of got the colors. It's a Norman Rockwell print. I got it out of a magazine. And I have a Norman Rockwell book. I'm thinking someday we'll do a Norman Rockwell journal. Doesn't want to tear. You can always tell when you're going against the grain of the paper. I think this is Norman Rockwell. If it's not Norman Rockwell, it's close to it. I know I'm off. I'm sorry. I was off frame doing that. Okay, trust me. You didn't want to see it anyway. Let's just put this on too. It needs more. I didn't ink it up. Wow. Paper's coming off. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry. I will come back and show you what's next. Thank you guys for watching so far. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back and it's dry, so I'm going to trim it off. This is very easy. And there are some parts that are coming apart right there, so it definitely needs to go to the sewing machine. So I've got it right here, and I think I could get to it fairly well. So it doesn't take much to trim it off. And it's a little wrinkly, it's a little damp still, but I think it's going to be fine. So let's see if I can get to the sewing machine. Move the paint out of the way. I like this setup where I'm at, except for one thing. I always put junk in front of my sewing machine and I can't get to it. And you see all my notes on the post-it notes. I'm probably even going to run out of bobbin. Maybe I can make it. So we're going to try it. So here we go. I don't know if you can see it or not, but let me just get it done real quick. Get those edges down. Okay. Get my string under control. Move it out a little bit. Run into stuff. Okay. Like I said, I got stuff behind me in the way. Okay, get out of the way. This back here. Okay. Craziness. There it is, stitched around. And the yo-yo, you know, I wasn't thinking too much. It's going to cover up part of the picture, but I could put it at the bottom. It's going to be a journaling card, so this kind of makes it into a tag. But I don't think it's too bad putting it there. So, and I think I'm just going to staple it, so it'll stay for sure. And we'll call this challenge done, because I did 4 things with AMY. This one is map paper, or no, A was the Atlas paper, and M was Mod Podge, and the yo-yo is the Y. On this one, the A was the acrylic paint, M was the masking off places, and the Y was yo-yo. On this pocket, the A was the acrylic block, which I used to stamp this. The M was the mulberry paper, and the Y is the yarn that I made into a little trim there with hand crochet. And on the first one, I made tags with acetate on these business envelopes. The M was the money, and the Y was the yarn. So anyway, that's my challenge, and hopefully I can use these in different projects, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.